Hi, this is Curt and welcome to another edition of Fire Law Roundup.
Okay, let's go to Lansing, Michigan. I love this case, or it's just a lawsuit. It's just filed. It's a continuing saga of things, but let me give the brief facts because I really want to have a good in-depth conversation on this. So we have an African-American male firefighter. He has been terminated for what he claims, right? The reason he's giving us, I'm not sure whether I know is true or not, but he claims, remember, these are just allegations. We don't have any trial or discovery, but he claims he was fired for free speech for posting the police chief's personal cell phone number on Facebook in 21. He claims that he's been subject to retaliation and to worse working conditions, and his medical leave is treated differently than others. But here's basically what happened to get him to here. So in August of 19, he attends a town hall meeting. And he keeps, when you read the complaint, he keeps making clear, as he should, as his attorney should, keeps trying to make clear, I was never in uniform, not part of my job duties, 100% acting as a private citizen. And we'll discuss Pickering for everybody in a moment, the case that obviously they're pegging this under. So he claims that I went there, spoke to the police chief, told him about a not-for-profit corporation I've been forming and all these good things I've been doing. And the police chief handed over his private cell phone number and said, hey, call me. And let's discuss your not-for-profit. And then over time in 2020, later, him and his wife create this podcast, which is on Facebook and other places. And they're talking about important issues, at least to what he would say is the African-American community. He said there were some things that the city did which upset him about, I didn't totally understand this, but posting a picture of a police dog who I think it was died in the line of duty. But he said,
there was a death of a young African-American. And he was unarmed, and I believe the police either shot him. He ended up dying in the same incident where the police dog died. And he was upset that the city was sort of portraying the dog as like a hero, and without mentioning the African-American youth who was killed in the incident. And right. he felt that ought to be at least discussed as well.
And look, in fairness to the non-biasness of our review here, that is clearly not a fire department issue. Maybe a city issue, but it's not a fire department issue. And he has every right in the world to express displeasure or almost anything with regard to speech about that. So the same thing happens again. He expresses his displeasure, but during all of this time, which is significant, he's on medical leave. So I don't think he's a lieutenant, a captain, a chief. He's no rank that I can tell. And now he's on medical leave. So he's not even on duty when he's doing any of these things, which is not dispositive, but it's a very important factor. In any event, he then claims that he's being treated differently with regard to his medical leave. He's being treated differently than similarly situated Caucasian individuals. Through all of this, then he gets terminated in March 11th of 21 for what he alleges he was terminated for engaging in protected free speech and for posting the police chief's telephone number on the Facebook page. We don't yet know if there's an independent, different reason for the termination. But if what he said was true, right, in my opinion, he meets the Pickering test, right? To keep it simple for the viewers, he is speaking as a private citizen because he was off duty, and speaking on behalf of the fire department is not his job description, presumably, and he was on medical leave, so it's certainly not his job duty. He makes a pretty good case for he's speaking as a private citizen, and he's certainly speaking on matters of public concern, right? The respect of African Americans, et cetera. So both of those are strong. However, they're going to have to establish that he was terminated for that reason and not for a different reason, and was being discriminated against for that reason and not a different reason. And look,
Let me just take the contrary point, only because I've got a lot of friends up in Lansing and on both sides of this issue. So I don't want, and I'm trying to come down the middle. There's a question of fact, and it always comes up as to whether or not a firefighter who posts, was it actually as a private citizen? Was it in some way? And there's a lot of factual questions. Like, for example, he's got that Facebook page where he posted it. Does he make efforts to identify himself as a firefighter on that Facebook page? Did he post a lot of things about the fire department? Okay. Rank is very important here. And this is where I love my metaphor about the close play at second base, because just because the first runner on a certain team is out at second base doesn't mean everybody who slides into second base is going to be out. It's a close play. Point being, if you're a firefighter, that's one thing that goes into the account. If you're the fire chief, even though you're on medical leave, even though, you know, a lot of other things that you mentioned, okay, but you're the fire chief, that's a different slide into second base. Just because the firefighter is not a government official, didn't post in his official capacity, you know, the fire chief. So rank, there's a lot of different factors. So I think based on what I see, I agree with you, but I think there's that close call. And then don't forget the third step, which is, I don't think there should be a third step, but they have that third step, which is where the court gets to balance the firefighter's right to say it versus the fire department's right to shut them up. And you can't predict that one. Yeah. You can't. I mean, there's just, you know, it allows a judge, our good friend Chip Comstock says it's the judicial smell test. Okay. That if the judge agrees with you, that they'll use the balancing test to rule in your favor. And if they disagree with you, they'll go against you. The Supreme Court really ought to take a hard look at that balancing point.
Agreed. But look, and all of this assumes that any of it's true, right? We don't know yet what is true. We just have allegations. And I suspect the first thing you're going to see is he was not terminated for free speech. I'm making this up, right? But he didn't come back when he was required to, or he falsified his reasons for leave. I mean, there's a million other things that are going to come into play right now that the suit's been filed. So you and I will inevitably be speaking about this again when more happens. I'm predicting there'll be maybe a motion to dismiss, but if not, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, he already won $1 million for race discrimination on a prior claim.
Right.
And so, and that case was pending, and I'm surprised there's not a retaliation aspect to this related to his prior suit, because that's not that factually there was retaliation, but I think from an attorney's perspective, we're going to put it in there because he's suing the city, and then all of a sudden he gets fired. And that's, you know, it looks like there might be a time-wise, there might be a connection there, but
and that could provide a good impetus for support retaliation claim, which, right, again, it's all got to play out.